Hello, 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 ladies and gelatins. Welcome to Shibuya Scramble on Monday. Oh my gosh, yeah. It's December. That happened really fast. Like, wow, super fast. But hey, I did mention this, I think even on stream right before my birthday on Halloween, that I was like, yo, I'm gonna blink and it's gonna be Christmas. We're already at December 1st, so that's gonna happen real fast. Wincember, right? Oh, it's pretty intense. The weather sure is matching it, but we've only had one day of snow so far. Also, hello, Kira. Hello, Foxy. And thank you for the hydrate. I have with me some delicious, delicious tea with raspberry and lemon. And it is a delightful combination. And honestly, like, I don't know, just this tea maker, everything they put with lemon is phenomenal. So, yes, I'm ready to get this show right on the road because honestly, I have missed this and I'm hoping I will remember what on earth I was doing because it's been a little while. I'll probably remember like instantly, honestly. It sounds like a great combination minus raspberry and lemon, so you just want hot water. Like, what's the desire for your tea flavor? Because this isn't like a black tea with stuff. This is literally just raspberry, lemon, maybe hibiscus. Like, maybe. Which, honestly, hibiscus pretty much just exists to, like, enhance the flavor. Everything else, as far as I can tell. Which is great. I love hibiscus. But, you know, it is what it is. Anyways, so, let's get started. Figure out for your water, ice cold. Oh, that's fair. Controller, no, don't do this to me. Not now. Let me try resetting that. I was actually having a lot of trouble connecting my controller earlier, and I guess, you know, the one mistake I made, silly me, was I didn't actually test, like, once it had finally connected, whether or not it... Well, I don't think it's gonna... Oh. Are we connected? No, that's the problem, is if it uses the mouse, I can't actually test it before it gets in there. I literally don't know how to play without the controller. So that's weird, because it's connected, supposedly. Hold on. I thought I fixed this before I started stream, silly me. It's connected. It works on... Okay, I have to just reset the game. It's working elsewhere. One suckerino. See, we're not actually quitting. This is just a small technical break for the fact that why controller no worky. Anyways, bye-bye, quick stream. No. We still good. Here, see, look, it's already back. It's back. There's even like an intro that maybe no one has seen here except for me and anyone who's played this game like locally. That makes even less sense. Okay. I'm in the game. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, I was about to have a little mini heart attack there of like, why worky here and not there? Well, it's what it is. We just have to get through it. Okay. Did we do Minorikawa's? Sheer chibi heart attack, yes. Well, let me look at the... Okay, let me look at... Yes, okay. So we're just here in Minorikawa's story. We have Kano's story to continue, probably. We have a keep out on Maria. Yeah, we're pretty early on in this, actually. Let's just slam through it. We'll figure out what we were doing maybe eventually. Wait a second. I feel like there's something I'm forgetting. Yeah! Minorikawa stopped and let out a cry of frustration. Daisuke Endo had asked him for a favor after their interview was done. He promised to tell me to tell the Wandering Angels that the dry ice machine they purchased was defective. At long last, the climax of the play drew near. There was a whole string of troubles, and the cast soldered on, and it looked like things were going to end all right. Then, backstage, Bando noticed that the dry ice machine was acting strangely. Even after it had been turned off, the machine continued to churn out more dry ice. Oh, jelly yawn right in the middle of everything. Great start. The producer, Tsukuzawa, demanded that the defective device be returned immediately, and so Tozuka, Bando, and Amo loaded into their vehicle and left the theater. Well, damn. That had completely slipped his mind. If he recalled correctly, the issue was that once the machine started making dry ice, it would stop. If he ran back to the theater now, he'd lose about 10 minutes. Norikawa checked his wristwatch. The lone people would be coming by the editing office before too long. He needed to prove to them that next month's issue of 4-Star General Gossip was well underway, or else they'd refuse to wait any longer for repayment. Right? Exactly. It was just a perfect place to start. Just literally dive right in, and suddenly we've got the plot, we've got the side plot, we've got another side plot, and also connecting things from way, way, way back. Yeah, I didn't remember. I didn't remember about the dry ice either. To do that, he needed to fill a minimum of 6 of the 12 remaining blank pages. He couldn't afford to waste even a single second. This was an awkward position to be in. He needed to keep his promise to Endo, but he also needed to spend his time wisely. Guess I don't have a choice. There's nothing to do. Having forgotten, he hurried on to the cafe. He agreed to take responsibility and headed back to the theater. I mean, that's interesting. What happens if he goes back? When he got there, he flagged, and the first guy he saw to tell him about the dry ice machine. Hey, make sure you remember what I'm about to tell you, okay? The dry ice machine is broken. The man stared at him blankly, but Minorikawa just forged ahead. Got it? The dry ice machine is broken. It needs to go back to the electronics store. Make sure you let the folks in charge here know. His obligation met, he hurried back to the cafe to get back to work on his copy. Along the way, he caught sight of a young couple running. They seemed like an odd pair, the girl looking prim and proper while the boy struck him as a bit thuggish. In fact, the boy's clothing was very much the style worn by the Shibuya street gangs. Maybe he'd know something about SOS. Hurrying across their path, Minorikawa called out to the pair. Hey, mind if I ask you something? Have you heard of SOS? The pair stopped, eyeing him warily. The young man spoke. Yeah, why do you ask? Do you happen to be a member yourself? No, not anymore. If the kid had once been part of the group, he ought to be able to provide some background anyway. Minorikawa took a step closer to the couple, formulating his next question. They didn't stick around to hear it. Let's go, the young man said, and a moment later, he and the girl were running away. Ah, hey! The pair paid him no heed. In a moment, they had vanished down an alley. The story about SOS will have to wait till later, then. Minorikawa hurried in the cafe, wasting no time. He sat... Other than the time we definitely just wasted, let's see if that's gonna matter. He sat right down and plugged his laptop into the nearest power outlet. I really am having reading issues today. That'll be fun. That'll be fun. Enjoy the mouth typos that are about to happen today. He plunked himself down on the floor and hit the computer's power switch. Just on the floor. Waitress gave him a disapproving look. Sir, I'm afraid you can't sit there. Mouth pose. I don't know if that works to just do it this way. I think mouth type. I think you have to have the full thing. I don't think you just smash the words together this time. Now it looks like your tables are full. I'll make do here. Well, being able to make do isn't really the issue. I'll have coffee, please. Just do whatever you want. The waitress turned away and stared vacantly up at the ceiling. That's an incredible photo. You know, a person can only get away with being obnoxious for so long. Sooner or later, someone's likely to call the police. Minorikawa looked up from his work, startled to see the burning hammer salesman standing over him. You're Mr. Yanagashita. Thank you so much for stopping by earlier. Are you gonna write your article here? Yanagashita eyed Minorikawa's computer. Ooh, that's the latest model, isn't it? Look, I got no time to talk right now. Minorikawa opened the file with his half-written copy. Ooh, what's this? Chaos at bogus weight loss drink sales demo. Yanagashita read the copy out loud. The organizer, Junichi Yanagashita, didn't merely have a whiff of deceit about him, his breath also stunk. Sounds good? Minorikawa asked. I wanted to make sure I gave an accurate impression. Oh, I love what you've done with it. This is a great copy. Fantastic. Yanagashita turned to look at him with a manic grin. Yeah, isn't it? In a flash, Yanagashita's face went from grinning to livid. Like hell it is. You think I'm gonna just let you write something like that? Yeah, I don't understand why people just let other people touch things. Hello, Al Ghul. Oh my gosh. Ooh. Hey, partner time. Yeah, yeah, I don't know how close I am to the end, honestly. So we'll definitely see, because already this game's been super crazy, super fun. And yeah, totally understand if work be worky. Like, it's... Honestly, we don't even celebrate Thanksgiving here, and yet there was so many people who were just off that, like, it was pretty chill overall, and now it's suddenly like, oh, we're trying to catch up and figure out what was happening with stuff and things, and you know, now it's almost Christmas, so everyone wants to do a bunch of last minute stuff, but also they don't, so we simultaneously have the rush and simultaneously do not have the rush. It's weird because you get half the people being like, oh, don't worry about it, let's save it till later, and the other half of people are like, we gotta get this done as soon as possible. And you don't know which kind of person you're talking to at first, and the same person can be both, just depending on who they're talking to. Ooh, it's fun. I don't mind it though. I'm having a good time. Hello, Rubsticks. Yes, I am getting in a festive mood. I don't have any Christmassy outfits or anything. Actually, I don't really have much outfits at all. But you know, it is what it is. Just know that I am feeling the upcoming Christmassy spirit. And the time off is gonna be phenomenal. Get it done, relax, knowing, oh, yeah. Honestly, usually I am too, but the problem is if you need something from someone who's the relaxed sort, then you kind of have to sit around and twiddle your thumbs and wait for them, or you can just also just kind of relax while you wait for them to actually respond to your email or Teams message or set up a meeting. There's so many things. Oh my god, I really hate this character. Yanagashita is like literally the worst. Is that a confetti cannon? For the upcoming holiday season, everyone. We're gonna have, you know what, let's all just decide to just have a really fantastic December. Sound good? Let's just make that happen somehow. As much as we can in our own power, let's just have a really delightful December, enjoying all the festivities and non-festivity things that each person individually likes. Like, I think it's really funny that I have this like really intense music and I'm talking about like Christmassy stuff. I feel like I should like read further until like it gets more relaxed again for a moment, and then we can just like, oh yes, let's talk about our favorite holiday-y type foods and things. And that sounds nice. And it's okay if you don't enjoy these sort of festivities. I have always been kind of mixed on them. I'm coming back around though, honestly. Like, I didn't enjoy it for a long time. And I'm like finding it again. I'm like re-finding myself. So I'm kind of dipping my tootsies back in the water of like, ooh, maybe I can like things like decorations. Well, I've always liked lights. Everyone likes lights. Lights are just great. But you know, other kind of decorations, or like, well, I've also liked cookies. Everyone I think likes cookies, but it depends on what kind. Let's see. Yeah, Minorikawa is also not a great person, but Yanagashita is so much worse. Yanagashita affects way more people, I would say. Hey, get back here, Minorikawa leapt to his feet and rushed off in pursuit. As he sprinted madly along, Yanagashita turned down a narrow alley. Minorikawa stayed close behind, desperate not to lose sight of him. His quarry began to weave his way through the back alleys of Shibuya. This guy clearly knew his way around town. By Miyashita Park, they zipped onto a pedestrian bridge. Yes, where the heck was this idiot going? Halfway across the overpass, Yanagashita suddenly stopped. Oh, he's gonna drop it. Confused, Minorikawa stopped as well. Give that back, he called. He could have thrown it anywhere. Literally anywhere. Yanagashita flashed a mocking grin and dangled the laptop over a railing. Oh. Minorikawa lunged, but it was already too late. Laptop left Yanagashita's hand and went spinning down through the air. Then, as the two men struggled, Yanagashita himself toppled over the railing. Without hesitating, Minorikawa jumped down as well. What? Okay. Bad end? Minorikawa landed hard. As he struggled to regain his breath, he looked around and saw Yanagashita beside him. Incredibly, the laptop was safe in the charlatan's grasp. Apparently, he'd somehow managed to catch it midair. Before Minorikawa could be too relieved, however, Yanagashita got to his feet and took off running again. Get back here, you little weasel! I don't think so. Oh my goodness. Reddit has a subreddit where you guess the cookie cutter shape. Wait, that sounds really fun. That sounds fun. I have to remember that for later, because that sounds really entertaining. Write whatever you want. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he will throw himself into every single situation. You're 100% right. 1000% right. Like, absolutely. He's an interesting character, but my goodness, I enjoy disliking him, but sometimes it's also like, bruh. This Yanagashita guy was infuriating. That, and he was really fast. Minorikawa considered himself a decent runner, but he couldn't manage to gain on Yanagashita. If running away was a competitive sport, this guy would be a world-class superstar. Well, running is a competitive sport. He could. As he ran along, a peculiar thought occurred to him. Hold on a minute. If he hates my copy that much, shouldn't he have wanted my computer to break? Why'd he go out of his way to catch it like that? Made no sense at all. Hey, Minorikawa shouted. What are you planning to do with my laptop? Yanagashita glanced back at him. Gonna sell it. That actually makes a lot of sense. Sorry about this. What? Minorikawa was taken aback. Consider it compensation for defamation of character. That is not how any of that works. In the civil sense, the act of unlawfully damaging another person's character or reputation in the public eye. In the criminal sense, the act of disseminating damaging facts about an individual to an unspecific large number of people. That's... Oh my god. No, that's not how any of that works for sure, but like, oh my god. Also, it's not defamation of character if you're stating the facts. Just saying. Those might be straight up facts. Not sure how he could prove his breath wasn't stinky, for starters. Come on, get real. It can't be a definition of character. The article hasn't run yet. Then consider it in advance on the compensation. This was so nonsensical it made Minorikawa's head hurt. But now at least he knew why Yanagashita dove after the computer. The thief continued to weave his way through the side streets. His speed didn't diminish in the slightest. Yeah, but this guy has too much experience running away. In fact, Minorikawa's stamina began to fade, and finally he lost sight of his quarry. But that didn't mean he was ready to give up the search. There were articles on that computer that were right on the verge of completion. Whatever it took, he had to get it back. Yanagashita had said he was going to sell it. Where could he be headed then? To the sales demo venue. A knick-knack shop or Endo Electronics. I feel like it's going to be the knick-knack shop, honestly. Yanagashita stole my homework. I'm sorry, teacher. I can't hand it in because a crazy con man just yoinked my laptop and ran away. 50-50 on Knick-Knack Shop or the other one. If you caught seeing one near the Burning Hammer demo site. He also recalled seeing a poster outside the place that read, "We buy computers at top prices." Yeah, okay. I don't remember that. But apparently now I do. Damn, the guy had led him on a wild goose chase. The shop was surely where he was going to sell the laptop. Gulping a deep breath, he headed in that direction. There you are, Yanagashita. Minorikawa burst into the shop on center guy, an accusing finger pointed squarely at the thief. Listen, there's no way I'm buying a computer that doesn't have a power cable. Details. All you sell here is junk anyway. Yanagashita and shopkeeper had got into an argument. Minorikawa recognized the shopkeeper. It was the guy he'd run into on the roadside earlier. That computer belongs to me, Minorikawa shouted as he marched up to him. Give it back. Yanagashita clutched the laptop to his chest. Nuh-uh, I need the money. Knock it off, you're acting like a child. Minorikawa tried to slap him out of his tantrum, but Yanagashita ducked to avoid the blow. Then, bizarrely, Yanagashita froze. A fierce gleam came to his eyes. He broke into an incomprehensible stammer. That's it! Yanagashita snatched up a flyer that his gaze had fixed on. Iron stomach, huh? This right here's my little bluebird of happiness. You know what? You can have this. Yanagashita shoved the laptop into Minorikawa's arms. And welcome it to you, idiot. I don't need no worthless computer. You're the idiot, Buster. Minorikawa smacked Yanagashita right across the face. Ouch! Hitting him felt good. Oh, it feels good for me too. I really enjoy watching this man getting any kind of consequences for his absolutely insane actions. He decided to do it again. Minorikawa shoved Yanagashita towards the shopkeeper. Hand this guy over to the police. Oh no, not the police, Yanagashita pled. Can it, you thief. You tried to rip me off and you have no idea how much is riding on my work. You deserve 10,000 deaths. Honestly, you'd think dying once would be sufficient. 10,000? Isn't that taking things a little too far? I'm sorry already, I give up. Finally, the guy was ready to surrender. Minorikawa let his guard down for just a moment. Like hell I am! Switching gears in an instant, Yanagashita took off running at full speed. This again. Get back here, you bastard! Minorikawa is already in pursuit. Or not. You don't have to run after him anymore. It's fine. Just let him go. He's not worth it. He stuck with Yanagashita as far as Koendori before losing track of him. This guy sure knew how to make a getaway. Breathing hard, Minorikawa stopped and took a look around the area. As he did, he heard a cell phone ringtone from somewhere nearby. It was the new single from the pop singer Aya Kamiki. Could that be Yanagashita's phone? Huh. Could be. Somehow he struck Minorikawa as the type of guy to have a ringtone like that. He seemed worth looking into anyway. He had nothing else to go on. Minorikawa shifted his gaze around, trying to locate the source of the sound. Wait. It is dark now. Suddenly, a massive fiery blast knocked him from his feet. By the time he realized it was an explosion, his senses were already shattered. What just happened? Yes. Listen, Minorikawa is a very, very special character, but he does have some useful traits. He's not a bad journalist. He's just an insane person. He's also not a good journalist, I think, either. It's really hard to tell because I've never actually read any of his work other than a couple sentences. He couldn't see, he couldn't hear, he couldn't move his body. Where am I? For a while, all he could feel was an intense pain, but soon even that faded away. And then there was only darkness. Did he die from an explosion? Oh my god. Chasing Yanagashita led Minorikawa to the wrong place at exactly the wrong time. This wouldn't have happened if Yanagashita hadn't run when he did. If the MMA fighter Miku Morita comes into the knick-knack shop, she'll interrupt their argument. Things might turn out differently. Okay. Alright. But it seems like... Light does the dust. Yes. We're gonna have to. Okay, Maria still has the keep out. We have Osawa. We have Achi. We have Kano. Okay, I'm thinking... No one else has a jump yet. We need someone whose jump is gonna be remotely related. Let's get Achi. Surveillance room. Achi didn't slow his pace till they were nearing their destination. Then he turned back to look at Hitomi. He was about to ask if she was doing all right when someone close at hand called out to him. Hey, mind if I ask you something? Have you heard SOS? Achi stopped in his tracks. It's a stranger. I feel like I read this before, but not from just the other side, which definitely happened. But I feel like I was Achi before. Whatever, let's just go through it again anyways. The guy looked too old to be picking a fight with SOS. Achi regarded him with suspicion. Yeah, why do you ask? Do You happen to be a member yourself? No, not anymore. The man's eyes flashed with a gleam of recognition. Does this guy know who he was? With a broad grin, the stranger took a step closer. Achi's heart sank. He couldn't afford to get caught up in some new hassle right now. Hitomi flashed him a worried look. Let's go. Achi and Hitomi dodged past the man and hurried onwards. Right? No, it's really interesting. No, the composition is phenomenal in this game. The photography is phenomenal in this game. It is just, it blows me away constantly. You can see how much fun they had with it, but also how much meaning and purpose they put into framing every single shot, all the actors, everything. Just great. Even if the guy was harmless, they needed to be on their guard. There was no telling just how many thugs and assassins were looking for Hitomi. Rather than head directly for the surveillance building, Achi decided he better make sure the stranger wasn't up to something. Hitomi followed as he slipped quickly back into a back alley. There was no indication the man was following them. What's that guy's deal? Hitomi asked. No idea. But he sure seemed kind of fishy. Doesn't look like he's coming after us, though. They took a quick detour through another seedy back alley. Then, as they were starting to head towards their original destination, Achi felt a sudden searing pain in his back. Oh. Glancing over his shoulder, he discovered one of the foreign syndicate members had crept up the circuit. Why is everyone dying? Oh no, I've been stabbed. Ah! Hitomi screamed. Another man had suddenly appeared, grabbing her by the arms. Hitomi. Achi tried to reach out to her, but his arm was leaden. His body refused to obey his commands. Oh my God. As the attacker wrenched the knife from his back, Achi felt the blood gushing from the wound. Okay, that knife's still there. The two men started to drag Hitomi away. Damn it! He tried to pursue them, but his legs faltered and he couldn't find their footing. He was losing blood so fast he was starting to fade from consciousness. Achi could only watch impotently as Hitomi was dragged further and further away. Well, we're really 2 for 2 bad ends. Achi got stabbed, caught in a surprise attack by one of the kidnappers. Could only watch helplessly as Hitomi was taken away. If that weird guy hadn't tried to talk to him, Achi would never have taken the risk of wandering the alleys. But how can you keep that guy from wanting to interview Achi? I don't know. How can I keep him from wanting to do that? Okay, we have a bad end, we have a Kano, we have a bad end, we have an Osawa. Let's try the Kano. Kano practically dived from the car when it arrived on the scene in Macho. The place was teeming with officers and onlookers alike. Out of the way, please move aside. Kano forced his way through the throng. Sasayama was lying in a massive pool of his blood. Oh god, why is everybody dying? Everybody is dying right now. Happy holidays, Bulldog! Things are going great in real life, but... Sorry, I couldn't resist. Sasayama! Kano rushed to his partner's side. The knife was still embedded deep in Sasayama's belly. Its handle shuddered each time he drew a labored breath. Yes, I messed up. Sasayama could only manage a raspy murmur. Yes, Bulldog, this is the best time to be showing up here. Oh, no, actually, it's really great to see you, but oh my gosh, there is so much death happening right now. I feel like I failed a lot of things, but I'm not even sure which part I failed where. Yet. Please, don't try to talk, Kano urged. Looks like I'll be celebrating the Mrs. birthday. Sasayama drew a small package from his pocket. It had been neatly wrapped and fitted with a pretty little ribbon. Here, give this to Mi-chan for me. Oh, God. That is so sad. Oof. The task is failed. I mean, this one is actually failed successfully because this one was an unavoidable stabbing here. This was the one that was necessary to get to this hour, so, I can't just undo this. No way. You give it to her yourself. You've never met Mi-chan, huh? She's real pretty. Probably surprised how pretty I know. Told me all about her. Kano, please. Give this to my wife for me. Mustering up the last of his strength, Sasayama pressed the gift in Akano's hand. Sasayama? Sasayama's hand dropped back down into the puddle of blood. A paramedic team had finally arrived at the scene. Sasayama was loaded into the ambulance. Kano felt a surge of rage roiling inside him. Punching his fist so hard his nails dug into his palm, he marched over to the captive Al-Karawan. You son of a bitch. He wound up for a punch to Al-Karawan's face, only to have his arm caught forcibly by the elbow. Spinning his head around, he felt Stanley standing there. Go me, Stanley. The American had a grip of steel, and Kano's arm wouldn't budge. Alright, this is a swell time to not witness a stabbing. Oh no! Surprise stabbing! I think most stabbings are surprises, though, actually. So, one thing about the translation inevitably lost is the composition of text around the characters, though. Can't really do that with a different amount of alphabetic characters in another language, but it tries its best to preserve a small piece of that. Yeah, actually, yeah, with Japanese also, you can do it, like, left and right. You can do it also top to bottom, and then I think it's right, yeah, top to bottom, right to left. Like, you can write Japanese in so many different ways, and it's actually much easier for them to have places where they can, yeah, do this around characters. I mean, they definitely did the best with what they have here, and it's definitely still absolutely phenomenal, but yeah. Poor can of tomato soup. Yeah, that red liquid, yes, definitely. He fell on a can of tomato soup. See, that guy with the knife was just helping him open the can of soup, and then they accidentally spilled it on him, and he got so tired that he decided to take a nap afterwards, because that's definitely what happened. There's no other thing. They allow you to assault suspects here in Japan, do they? Kano bit his lip, then lowered his shaking fist. No, of course not, he growled. Al-Karawan let out a nasal chuckle as he watched the pair. The cold glare, Stanley strolled over to him. Whisper, whisper. He leaned in close to whisper something, and all at once the blood drained from Al-Karawan's face. Visibly shaken, Al-Karawan said something back to Stanley. Stanley gave a slight nod, then left the captive with the police's escort. Kano went over to him. Hey, what was that about? Apparently, Al-Karawan gave Hitomi some instructions. Told her to get into a blue minivan that was parked along Dogenzaka. Stanley's hunch had been correct. But why had Al-Karawan confessed so quickly? How'd you get him to talk? You don't need to know that. Turning on his heel, Stanley went to report the news about the blue van to the task force. Nkuze immediately directed the detectives to nearest Dogenzaka to look into it, but they found no blue minivan in the area. Yes, I mean, listen, bathing in tomato soup is great to get rid of skunk smells. I wouldn't know personally, but I have seen some media about this, so it's probably correct. Something about the acid or whatnot. The order then came down for all personnel to search the vehicle. Or search for the vehicle. Kano thought back to another item in the Dick diary. Dick Dictum, number 14. Use the dead as a stepping stone, but be sure to die as a stepping stone yourself. What? Okay. That's... Alright. I guess so. Sure, why not? In the abstract, Kano could appreciate the nobility of self-sacrifice, but when he thought of Sasayama's blood-stained figure, it wasn't so easy to keep his emotions in check. How collectivist, right? is dictating, right? They're more and more useless and more yeah, like maybe it could be useful if abstract, but it's also really cold. First time you've ever seen a fellow officer get hurt? Stanley had come back over to him. We don't have time to relax. If you can't keep your anger in, then do something about it here and now. Stanley pointed to his own jaw. Hit me. American style. What? Why? Why would you... Why would that... You know, I guess we're just trying to confuse him, so his emotions will go away. Those pesky emotions. Kano smiled wryly at the unexpected proposal. No thanks, I'll be fine. Oh, we can hit him! We actually can. Hitting this man wasn't going to make Kano feel any better. I'm the one who deserves to get hit. Thinking about Sasayama, Kano couldn't help but feel guilty. Oh, do we want to... I want to see what happens. Without a word, Kano threw a punch. Stanley soaked up all the rage-fueled blow, his face a mask of calm. Kano felt all the more miserable in the face of such unflinching resolve. I definitely shouldn't have punched him. I go back in time, though. If I weren't such a bumbling clod, Sasayama never would have. Hey, don't blame yourself, Stanley said. You guys have been doing better than I expected. More sarcasm, huh? Stanley's mouth curled up sheepishly, and he held his hands wide. Kuze's voice suddenly cut in over the wireless. We've located the blue minivan. It's in Jinan 1 Chome on Koendori. Tomi might be there, and maybe the kidnapper's ringleader would turn up too. On pure reflex, Kano broke into a run. Stanley followed close behind. Oh, I guess punching him is just fine. Maybe nothing will happen from punching him. He doesn't even have a mark on his face. You put forth by an old Swedish story from Reddit. Dad asking his son if he'll carry him in old age like he carried his son as a boy. Son says no. The guy asks why, a little confused. Son says he'll be carrying his own son and can't carry him anymore. Yeah, can't carry him as well. How about you paraphrase but like the idea? Yes, I want to discuss this when there is less intense drum beats in my brain. I'll come back to it. They sped through the back streets, making their way towards Koendori. Kano was a pretty fast runner, but Stanley kept up with him without apparent difficulty. Were you the Army or something? No, Marines. United States Marine Corps, a rapid deployment force specializing in amphibious landing operations, an independent branch of the armed forces along with the Army, Navy, and Air Force. The Marines' motto is Semper Fidelis, Latin for always faithful. Wasn't much further to Koendori. The mental crux are sports mode. Yes, the music demands it. Yes, we'll come back to the deep things after sports mode. I don't know, if we find that band, don't get too close, Stanley warned. Could be a trap. These people will do anything to carry out their goals. Anything, huh? Kind of could sense the truth of Stanley's words. He reminded himself that his life could depend on remembering them. He raised his eyes. They were coming up on Koendori. Yeah, there are some decisions that, yeah, I have noticed this before. There are definitely some things that were just like fine and nothing really, it didn't really matter which one I clicked, which is good. There should be some like that. But yeah, it definitely, yeah, that's true. If the punch doesn't actually like change anything in the story, did he punch him or did he not? I feel like because 2 of the 3 are him not punching him is probably not. But, you know, there's always the insane option. Suddenly a boom as loud as cannon fire shook the area. Something's wrong, Kano thought. That's no ordinary city noise. A column of black smoke rose from between nearby buildings. Passersby stopped and stared, gasping in alarm. Whoa, video. I don't know how to put this, but Stanley does have American body language. Kano saw flames. This hadn't been an accident. Someone had set off an explosion. Shibuya precinct wasn't too far from here. Kind of recalled the attempted bioterrorism attack on Kasumigaseki. 2 years ago, the Tokyo Metropolitan Public Safety Commission obtained the intel of an imminent bioterrorist attack within the city. Immediately afterwards, an unoccupied minivan exploded outside the Metropolitan Police Department, and a device for dispersing a bacterial contagion was discovered at the subway platform at Kasumigaseki Station. Having determined that the city bureaucracy was the target, the Japanese government contacted the terrorist organization responsible in secret, making a deal to put an end to the threat. The incident began with the van exploding outside Tokyo MPD station. Already a large crowd of onlookers was gathering. Shouts rose up as they took in the scene. What's going on? What's happening? That car's on fire! Kano called into HQ, then quickly slipped around to the back of the burning vehicle. It was a minivan. Peering at the flaming chassis, he could see that there was someone inside. Oh no. Could that be Hitomi? Once they had their hands on the antiviral, the criminals would have no further use for Hitomi Osawa. Already, the body had been charred to ash. At this point, it was hardly recognizable as human anymore. Well, we know it's not Hitomi or Maria. But still. We have to keep out. This hour is insanely intense. Okay, banana fact. Skunks are omnivorous and can eat bananas if presented to them, though it's not a staple of their diet. The proper presentation of banana to skunk demands proper plating and utensil etiquette. I would love to see, like, okay, humans don't use utensils for a banana, but I would love to see a skunk just, like, a fork and knife just cutting off little bits and pieces, and then going like, and still making, like, those crazy, adorable, like, nom nom noises that, like, all animals seem to do when given, like, delicious things, right? It's just phenomenal. Okay, so back to Al Ghul's thing. Basically, if the sun will carry his old age. So here's the thing. I absolutely do agree with this. It's not possible to just put the burdens onto, like, okay, like, if you can't just put your burdens onto your child because they, like, because you helped them grow up. The whole point is you have them grow up so that they can go and do things and live life or whatever, not so that they can take care of you. That's looking backwards instead of forwards. You want them to have a better life. You want them to have more than what you had. You want them to be able to do things and not be burdened by you. But at the same time, we live in a society where we need to take care of each other in general. And I think that this whole thing of, like, expecting your son to take the burdens is not how it should be. Society as a whole should be taking care of each other. We should be living in a community where everyone is taking care of each other, because fact is, one of the reasons why the kid has to be carrying his own son and taking care of him all the time is because he probably doesn't have a lot of other support for his son, because we don't really have the village to raise a child, as maybe once upon a time we did. I'm not even, like, I feel like that probably was a thing at one point in time in some kinds of societies, but it can't just be a single linear thing, right? The whole concept of, like, the nuclear family and, hey, don't worry, just isolate yourself, and the two of you can definitely take care of X number of children all by yourself with no problems, no help, etc. Definitely completely reasonable. Especially when everyone has jobs. Yeah, yeah. No. The thing is, though, when you look back, we also used to live in, like, for most of humanity, we would live in multi-generational households, at minimum. Villages also, but at minimum, households. So the fact that, like, in your household, you would have grandparents, maybe great-grandparents, and then, you know, kids and adults and just everyone in a family just sort of all living together. Now we see that as really chaotic, and in a lot of ways it is, because the amount of space that you have for something like that is not really enough in the apartments people are building these days, and not even in the houses people build, honestly. Yes, exactly. It's an ideal, yeah, the cleanly burned candle of life. Exactly. I mean, you can't support them is when you're passing this exactly support onto your own children. Exactly. Like, the thing is, it is important, and it really does continue to go forward, because in reality, like, yes, babysitting, like, grandparents generally should be helping with the babysitting as well. It's more like that than the other way around. And then, yeah, there's still some support that can go backwards, but it should be fairly minimal. It should be kind of emergency support for the most part. Like, it should be going forward always. Like, to have more and more people taken care of, and like, you know, not even just sacrificing for, like, sacrifices are going to be made, but it's more just like facilitating and cultivating the next generation, who then will facilitate and cultivate the next generation. Yeah. Oh no, like, I don't like, it's not an expectation that they would do it all the time. Yeah, the grandparents can't be expected to literally be like the daycare and the free babysitters and no. Like, but like, it's one of, what I'm saying is the burden should go more in that direction than the other way around. Like, if you're expected to take care of your parents, like, your parents had you for all the wrong reasons. Like, there is some sorts of things that are kind of like, yeah, no, certain struggles, like, you would help, but the same way you'd help anyone in the same way they'd help you. But if it becomes a case of, like, they expect you to just 100% like pay for and take care of absolutely everything, like, oh no, you're gonna be my personal caretaker. No, there's a reason that's a full-time job for people who get paid a lot of money to do. It's a lot. There's a lot that goes on with caretaking. And same thing with, like, childcare. Like, you know, once women entered the workforce and they didn't, and most families no longer had, like, a person who was at home whose entire job, unpaid, was to take care of children. Yeah, suddenly it's, like, hard, and we have to pay people a lot of money, and daycare is so expensive. And it really shouldn't be. It should be subsidized by the government like it is in a lot of countries in Europe, but, like, straight up, like, yeah, it's expensive because it's a hard job that takes a lot of time and effort, and I totally respect people who are able to and decide to have one parent stay home to do it. But, like, man, our system sure is not perfect. It's almost like a bunch of evolved apes are not fully capable of supporting basically what goes so much faster and so much farther than evolution could possibly support. The amount of things we have to do, the amount of things we have to learn, the amount of expectations that are put on us, the amount of, like, time and hours out of your day, more and more and more, like, work and other work adjacent things demand. And especially since, yeah, no, there was also a time where we would even have kids who were just running, like, oh, don't come home till supper time, and kids would go do their own thing and parents would do their own thing. Was it a better time? I can't say that, because I wouldn't know. I didn't experience that from either end, obviously. So it's like, there were more ways to have time to do things, and now there is less and less, and there's more and more things that demand your time. And it's just, something has to burst eventually, but humans are so insanely resilient. We are capable of getting used to basically anything. And eventually we forget how things actually were. It doesn't take long, even. I mean, a generation, maybe even less than, maybe even within your own lifetime. You can't really exactly remember 100% how it felt 5 or 10 or whatnot years ago. Maybe 5 years ago. But do you? Is it exactly the same? Especially when our cells are regenerating. I think it's every 7 years. Technically, every single one of the cells in our body has changed already. We are the ship of Theseus, every single one of us, multiple times over. Yeah. No, we all hope that technology could solve this somehow, and it will solve it while also bringing new challenges, because every single solution to every problem has always done that since the dawn of forever. Because, like, literally the kind of agriculture we do is sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not so great. Some of it's kind of exploitative, and some of it's kind of not so great for the earth itself. And some things we learned, like we learned crop rotation pretty quickly. I think we learned you can't just keep planting stuff in the same place. We're still using tons and tons of pesticides, which some of them are really great and important. Some of them are not. We do a lot of genetic modification to plants, and some of that's great. Some of that's great, makes it more resilient, and some of that makes them all exactly the same monoculture. And also Monsanto, who like literally owns certain seeds and plants and does a thing somehow where then nothing else will grow. There was something about that I heard at one point. Maybe that's just some hearsay thing, but I honestly believe that that's possible. So like, you know, imagine subscribing to something you can grow that then only you can grow that brand from then on. Being able to own pieces of nature is crazy. The American saying you never step in the same river twice. That's true. That is really true. It's a nice poetic way of thinking about it. I read about how historical figures such as Shirley Temple managed to deal with both a childhood career and one of the most abusive workplaces possible. It fails to impress me how much willpower a single person can have. Yeah. Yeah, no, like, more than just survival instincts, but a lot to do with survival instincts. Like, the amount of stuff we will put up with and even find ways to enjoy and find moments of hope and everything, even in some of the worst possible situations. Or even, you can always think about someone who has it even worse and somehow survives too. Like, that's always a thing, forever. Like, yeah, okay, that's also true. Listen, Shirley Temple is also a absolutely delicious beverage, and I love it. And yes, a legit person. And I think I watched... Gosh, what's that most famous movie that I remember her being in? Daddy Warbucks. Basically, like, the guy who goes and adopts her from some orphanage. God, I cannot remember. Like, there's some memory tickling the corners of my brain from, like, deep into ancient childhood. Yeah? Annie? Oh, it might have been Annie. That sounds really familiar. It probably was Annie. Gosh, weirdly, I like want to watch that again now because yes, Little Orphan Annie. Okay, 100%, that's it. That rings every bell in my head. It's that. Yes, animal crackers in my soup. Hard Knock Life. Yeah, no, I remember it now. Maybe I should watch it again to like see if the neurons in my brain connect in all different ways, because they would. They would. I don't know. Have you, like, when was the last time any of you watched a movie that you haven't seen for like 5+ years? 5 or 10+ years. It's kind of different for 5 versus 10, but it depends on the movie. Like, basically something you haven't seen in so long that when you see it again, you see it through completely different eyes, and it just hits different, and you notice different things. Like, I actually watched The Matrix recently, and I definitely watched it like in my childhood, or I guess young teenagehood probably. I don't really remember. That's the thing, I don't remember. And then watching it again, it was totally different, but way awesome, just phenomenal. Monsters Inc. Oh my gosh, actually that's a good idea. I want to watch Monsters Inc. again. I also want to watch The Incredibles again, like the original, because I was a kid to watch The Incredibles, and I feel like it's gonna hit so much different, like, as an adult, right? Same with Monster Inc. too, honestly. Like, especially with the whole corpo vibes and now working at a corpo job, like Monster Inc. definitely gonna hit different. Yeah. Frequently, I guess. I'm not really a fan of rewatching stuff personally. Like, I don't like watching things that I remember too well, because it just, my ADHD brain is just like, I know this, I know all this, I don't want this, like, because it thinks about all of the things I could be watching instead of this thing I know. What helps is if I'm watching it with someone who's never seen it before, and the longer ago I haven't seen it. Though also, there's one movie which I was able to watch multiple times in a row within the same year, a couple of years actually. I watched it like, I swear, 5 or 6 times. And that's saying something for me. Like, I've almost never watched anything twice. And I watched this so many times because I had to show so many people Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. I've definitely mentioned this movie at some point again. I've definitely mentioned this movie at some point on stream, and I still highly recommend this to anyone. Again, don't look up anything. It's always like every time with every movie, it's the best to just not look up anything and just dive into it. But it's like literally Everything, Everywhere, All at Once is about Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, and I love it, love it, love it, love it. It became basically my favorite film, and I would probably still say it's my favorite film if I have to pick one, because it's still kind of not fair because there's so many different films I like for different reasons. Yeah, no, honestly, definitely. Like, I did like The Incredibles too. I don't remember when I watched it. I think I watched it on a plane. But I actually did enjoy it, but it doesn't feel like the first one because it can't. It can't. And it does also feel like Pixar has changed a lot. Like, a lot since then. Like, I can't believe they're not doing another Toy Story. Like, why? Why are we doing another Toy Story? Like, I guess it's just because they know people will watch it. But, like, and it might even end up being good, but I want new stories. I want more things. Despise Printable Suit. Yeah. That's 100% fair and reasonable. I enjoyed it, but it was like enjoyable. Not like incredible, you know? I also watched Inside Out 2 recently, actually, because I really loved Inside Out 1, of course, and I did not, like, I don't know, it didn't feel right. Like, it was fine. It's fine, and there are some parts of it that are really good and important, but that's not the parts that we spend most of the time on, so that's kind of the thing. Like, I really liked how they handled, like, some of those new emotions. And by some, I mean one of them. Because the rest kind of just felt like a bit. And that's my personal opinion, right? So, yeah. No, I think I watched Monsters University, and I think I also enjoyed it too. But again, it's not the same. It's kind of just, I think it was just a fun thing. I don't remember. And that's also the thing, is like, I don't remember those stories well, but like the ones that are really, really good, like you remember all those beats. You remember even if you saw it once, like I remember all the important beats of The Incredibles, and I still think it would hit even harder if I watched it again. I remember all the important beats of Monsters Inc. I remember all the important beats of Up. Everyone, if you've seen Up, you remember. That opening scene is seared into your brain, and you remember everything else about it too. That part even more than anything. So, but yeah, honestly, like, yeah, I don't own many books either, actually. So yeah, you're absolutely on the ball. It's correct. I don't own a lot of books. I definitely did books at the library, and I'll do digital books, and I don't read nearly as much as I used to, which is funny because, like, yeah. No, you don't have to remember anything. I just mean that, like, when something sticks with you that hard because it's just that potent, that says something to me. Like, it says something to me that I remember Monsters Inc. way more than Monsters University. Yeah. You know what? That is an incredibly balanced and fair point of view. It's not, because you're 100% right. It's not that people shouldn't watch, like, lesser media or anything, because it's not about that. Like, it's not really about, like, certain media being better or worse, but we can have these opinions that certain things felt different, right? How many of the really old ones? Ooh. Balto. Oh, you're absolutely right. Balto, I don't remember. Here's also the thing. If I was really, really young when I watched it, I don't remember it either. But that's because my memory when I was very, very young, those memories are all really fuzzy for a lot of reasons. An American Tale, yeah, Fievel Goes West. I remember bits and pieces. I remember beats. Great Mouse Detective. Also remember bits and pieces. I also remember the Tales of Peter Rabbit. It was something that my grandma had, actually. So it was really, really old, but I enjoyed it. Also remember how, like, old Winnie the Pooh was something that, like, my little brothers also watched, so I got to see it when I was older, and I remember just how, like, slow and calming it was. And that's how media used to be for kids. It used to be gentle and friendly and calming. Even when it was scary, it was also those things. Yeah. Yeah. No, I think some of these things rewatches are still really good. Yeah, there were a lot of rodent main characters for some reason. Like, even like Stuart Little also. Like, that's I don't think that's 90s. I think that's 2000s because it's 3D. But like, so yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Man, guys are reminding me of so much stuff. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Yeah. No, Who Framed Roger Rabbit's so good, honestly. There's so much. Still, yeah. Stuart Little is insane. Okay, new idea. Chipmunks. Yep. Chipmunks and rats and rodents and stuff. Hey, do you guys remember, like, All Dogs Go to Heaven? That one was really weird. Does anyone remember this animated movie, like, Anastasia? And it was like, and there was a character who was like, and it was like this political thing, but I did not understand any of that when I was young. I still don't understand it because I haven't watched it again. I just like heard a thing about it later on. And it was actually like, there were some moments in Anastasia that are still traumatic to me. There are still some scenes that I remember that are like that were super terrifying to me when I was young. Fern Gully, I don't remember because I don't remember if I actually got to watch it. I think I was a kid and I watched like half of it at like some person's house who had some old stuff, because like that's a thing also when you're a kid, sometimes like your parents go to some friend's house, right? And like the people there are like, oh, I have some old whatever, and they just set you up with some random animated thing, and they don't really care what part, like they don't care if they started it from the beginning. They don't care how much of it you see before it's time to go home. Like you just get like random snippets of lore of stuff, and you just have to go, was that actually a real thing I saw, or am I just crazy? Yeah. Ferngully had bats and fairies. Oh, yeah. I see, that's the thing. I think I watched some scenes of it somewhere, but that's all I remember. And like, it's also like The Secret of Nim. I feel like I saw bits and pieces of it at someone else's place when I was very, very young, and that's it. That's all I got. But like The Secret of Nim was so interesting. Like, you know, honestly, like kids' movies used to be so much scarier too, I think. But maybe also I just don't see some of the things as scary that they would nowadays too. I don't know. Not sure how many people remember Rockadoodle. No, actually, I don't know this one. The Secret of Nim Owl, scary. Yeah, I do remember the owl. That thing was do not know Rockadoodle, actually. See, like, there's so many more things that, like, people remember. Like, it's media, though. Like, the media you watch in your childhood, though, even if it's, like, just weird, off-the-wall stuff, it also, like, defines so much of you. And yet, a lot of the stuff that's, like, way, way, way older than me, way, way, way older than me is, like, also stuff that is so incredibly worth watching. Like, honestly, like, we talk about old stuff, not animated, Kurosawa films. I was actually, literally, I was cleaning up one of my drives, and I remembered that I had downloaded, like, a box set of, like, Kurosawa films. Because I was like, I need to actually, like, watch these. People are recommending them. And I watched, like, a couple of them, because, like, one of them, The Hidden Fortress, is literally, like, it's literally, like, so many and so much inspiration for Star Wars. and Yojimbo and all of the other things. Like the samurai stuff was basically like it's spaghetti western style before that was a thing. Like he created, invented that whole vibe, that whole feeling was Kurosawa, and I only saw like a few because I didn't see them when I was young. I didn't know anything about them when I was young, and I want to watch more of them again. But they're just incredible, honestly. Like I want to see that stuff, and that stuff's from way before I was even a thought to be maybe existing one day. You know? Like that's so before my time, and yet that's still really good and interesting and different, but it feels so different. Also directed the cutscenes of I Ninja. No. I actually, yeah, see, well, again, that one strikes a bell in my head somewhere. Bothered me too much to watch with Dumbo. Oh, this hallucinating scene in Dumbo. I remember that. Also, Watership Down. I did not watch that one. I think maybe my parents had heard something about it and they kept me from watching it at some point. We didn't have a lot of stuff at home. I'll be honest. We had when it comes to the media that was available at home, because like we didn't even have like cable or access to like good internet for years and years and years. So like I had basically just like the physical media that they had gotten and like from donations. And so I watched a lot of like weird Jesus comics. No, it's like just weird Jesus animations. And also My Neighbor Totoro. We didn't own that one, but it was at the church for some reason, that was really interesting to like, because that was also one of those things as a kid. I'm like, what is this? And I had no idea because I'd never seen any Japanese animation before at that point in time. I was super, super young, and it was just some physical media that we, like, one of my brothers and I had found just at the church. Crazy. Yeah, I heard Watership Down definitely messed up a lot. Messed up a lot of kids too. We have Watership Down home, but no, we don't. Exactly. I rented that one as a kid. Yes. Yeah. No, I actually do remember when Netflix did rentals. Because like that and Redbox was like the closest thing we would ever get to like getting to see more media. Homeward Bound. Oh my gosh. Homeward Bound. Oh man, that one that one was actually delightful, but I feel like if I look up anything about how those movies were made, I might get really sad. I'm very scared because like I don't remember if some of those scary moments like was it like really obvious, like, you know, stuffed animals, or did they actually terrify some poor actual animals? I don't want to know. I want to keep the happy memories of, you know, the animals getting back home. Nope, that would be great. Let's do that. Let's keep that. Yeah. No, those were, you know, Milo and Otis. Ooh. Yeah, Homeward Bound I think I remember more than Milo and Otis, to be fair. I'm not 100% sure if I've seen this movie. Curse knowledge. But yeah, no, but like notice how just like even just listing the names of some of these bring out these massively visceral like emotions and memories. And like, yeah, there's also a bunch of like weird off the wall, like not as great stuff that we watch too, but those also shape memories. Like it's hard to remember off the top of my head some of the not so great things I've watched that still are like a part of my memories, but I don't know, maybe Mega Man Battle Network anime disc. Read or Die? Wait, there's an anime for Read or Die? No way. I literally had no idea. I heard about the manga. I read a little bit of the manga. I don't even remember what it's about. I had no idea there was an anime for it. I also didn't know there was an animated Titanic. Oh, okay, there's a full anime and there's an OVA. Oh, okay. Legit. Oh my god, Treasure Planet. Yeah, listen, like, just a list, just listing stuff. And every one of us has feelings about at least a good handful, if not all of these things. Like, it sends you back on like a journey into just so much emotion. And oh my god, yes, all of these. Okay, literally, yes. El Road to El Dorado. Oh, robots. Oh my god, robots like the... What to? Iron Giant. Oh, also so good. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a tough one. Oh, a newer one that's also really good that Pixar did is Soul. I really liked. I really like Soul. Like I cried on the, like I watched it on a plane. I didn't know. I was just like, listen, I just need to pass the time. I ended up crying at the end. Luckily, there was no one sitting next to me. But yeah. Listen, not that I'm ashamed of crying or anything, but it would have just been like low-key awkward for them to not know what to do about it. You know what I mean? To just, you know, pretend they don't see it the whole time, just kind of pretend to ignore. I don't know anything about Powerpuff Girls. But also, if you want some fun cursed knowledge, there is a Lilo and Stitch anime. And I'm not talking about the animated series, I'm talking about the anime that was made in Japan. Where Stitch, it's cursed, it's cursed in a lot of ways, but the biggest one is Stitch, like, just gets a new family. You know, he leaves, like, the beginning of it is him leaving Lilo because, or thinking Lilo leaves him, something like that. It's kind of really messed up. Yeah, look it up. Google, because like you can find on YouTube, there's a couple people who did like a quick breakdown of the plot of the Lilo and Stitch anime, the Japan one. It stops being Lilo and Stitch. Yes, correct, it does. It starts being Stitch and Japanese kids doing stuff. And it's really weird. It's really weird, but it's technically in some ways canon. So I would still say it's not canon because it doesn't make any sense in a lot of ways, but like, go look it up, find out about it, because it's weird for sure. Oh yeah, it's just called Stitch. Yeah, because Japan. That's don't worry, because family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten. We just forgot about that part. You know, it's said in Hawaii. Yep, it's true. Anyways, I should probably also play this game some more. Oh, no, I can't again. Oops. A few episodes I watched were generic. Yeah. All right, we're stuck on basically everyone right now. Let's see. I mean, not stuck, but still. I've never truly trusted anyone, not on a fundamental level. Human beings are a type of organism that I can't get a true handle on through mere surface interactions. And the very fact that I have never trusted anyone else means that, inevitably, no one else has ever trusted me. In the end, maybe the root of all my problems can be traced back to my heart. As he waited for Minorikawa to contact him, Osawa thought about his current crisis. Assuming Tanaka was behind the kidnapping, then he must have had some accomplices. And these criminals had mistakenly abducted Maria in their attempt to get at the antiviral drug that was in Hitomi's blood. Maria and Hitomi were fraternal twins, but they looked similar enough to be mistaken for identical. Still, Tanaka would never confuse the two. The mix-up must have been made by some criminal who didn't know Maria or Hitomi personally. Insisting that Hitomi bring the ransom to the train station was so obviously their solution, it had set her up for a second abduction. Oh my gosh, hi Puffy Amiyumi, also great. That was fun. I haven't seen too many episodes of that, but it was very exciting. But piecing together this much of the kidnapper's plan only raised a different question. Why had Tanaka shown them these emails from Hitomi? You know what I will say about like reboots of some of these old things that like, I mean, I still feel really strongly about Teen Titans Go. Because Teen Titans was incredible, and serious and amazing, and then it just became effectively like fart jokes and fourth wall breaking. Which, sure, it's a different show. It's something completely different, and I just wish it was actually completely different and not taunting me that they could have finished the first one and then done this too and then whatever. But if we're talking about ones that actually did like let's say a reboot and did it well and true to the original, the Samurai Jack one. Basically, when they came back and did that one more season, phenomenal. I don't know who here has seen that. I didn't see all of the Samurai Jack episodes from the first one, but I watched all of that final season of like it coming back. It's beautiful and it's well written and it's good. It's really, really good. Even if you haven't seen a lot of it, like if you want just to enjoy like the flavor of Samurai Jack, just absolutely you can just go and watch that extra. Please watch the extra season. Please watch it. I think they did a brilliant, phenomenal job and they didn't mess up anything. That is my personal, very strong opinion. And if someone who's seen all of the episodes disagrees with me, then I'm even more interested in conversation about it. But we'd probably have to have that one on like private DMs if it was that, because I'll be hecka spoiler. Yes. You might need to be the fool. Yes. Do it. Oh, okay. Courage the Cowardly Dog actually, for some reason, does not work for me and didn't work for me as a kid. I would get so frustrated. I would get too frustrated at, like, everyone in the show, but especially, like, the adults. It was just too... It was too much for me. So that one didn't hit the notes that I needed personally, but I totally understand the people who did watch a lot of it. I'm thinking of another one. Oh, another one which like isn't really like a reboot of an old show, but like I watched all of Steven Universe and I loved Steven Universe Future, and it's actually hard because I can't tell, like, Steven Universe Future is so good that I want people to watch it who haven't seen the original Steven Universe, but you can't because, like, you wouldn't understand. But there's no, like, abridged version to not skip past the, like, 5 seasons first. Yeah. Oh, the She-Ra reboot apparently also very, very good. I watched a couple episodes of that and it's great. I wanted to watch more, but then it got taken off of Netflix before I came back to it. So maybe one day I will. Also, I guess we can probably give like the My Little Pony thing for like, cause not did they like remake it again? But like there was a remake like, oh god, like more than 10 years ago. It must have been more than 10. The one from the 2010s something in there. That one. That's the My Little Pony. It's the only My Little Pony I know. And it's the one that like everyone like it became like a huge hit and it's still like a cult thing, and like there's a whole thing of like, hey, you can like this and not want to associate with the bronies. I'm like, yep, that's absolutely reasonable and fine. And there are weird people in every single every phenomenon, honestly. There's weird people. Yes, Friendship is Magic. That's the one that I enjoyed actually quite a lot. It's really good, and yet the original also was probably good for some people too. But like they did a good job with that. Like you can reboot some series and like do it well, but you have to, I don't know, like it has to be the right time and the right place and the right people and the right reasons to reboot something. But then again, like I said, I think they did it again, and that's the part where it's like, I don't know. But maybe it's just different because I'm not a kid anymore and everything's different. So, Kim Possible, best, yes, all of the yes. Like, unique art, very cool, very fun, just that, and also thank you for killing the bot. And also like Totally Spies, like there was like a era of just like fun spy things. That was great. And both of those hit pretty good spots, I would say. Yeah. So why had Tanaka shown him those emails from Tomi? Wouldn't the criminals want to keep information like that hidden? The more Sawa thought about these things, the less sense they made. Just who are my true allies and who are my foes? Can't mention that one yet. Interesting. Kim Possible took a step in a Japanese. Yes, I would say so. Though I don't know if I watched the very end of Kim Possible anyways. Because I didn't watch it like front to back. There are very few of those like cartoons that I watched front to back. Like I watched all of like I saw bits and pieces of Avatar when I was a kid. And then later on I decided to actually sit down and watch all of it, and absolute banger, phenomenal. I watched all of it. I watched all of Korra, and I know we can get into a whole thing about that, and we won't because it will take the rest of the stream, I guarantee it, and we've done it again. But loved every bit of it. Every single season of Avatar, Korra and Aang is incredible. And that's still pretty much the only way to watch it, is actually watching it all front to back. Mr. Osawa, a delivery has arrived for you. It was Kajiwara at the sturdy door. Steady. Kajiwara stepped into the room and handed Osawa a letter-sized envelope. Osawa checked the label. Coming. Requires a 1,000 yen initiation fee and yearly dues of 3,000 yen. Membership grants several perks, including the opportunity to reserve concert tickets in advance of the general public. Osawa is fond of the members-only website content, which includes Ayakamiki's blog and exclusive videos. Neat. The official Ayakamiki fan club membership application enclosed. Right, he had requested the application the day he'd gotten back from overseas. Do you mind opening that? Kajiwara asked apologetically. What for? Just like to check the contents of any package you received today, sir. It's possible a kidnapper might try to contact you by mail. Sawa opened the envelope and said he found the expected application, along with several postcards featuring pictures of the singer. Kajiwara peered pointedly at the postcard images. You must really like her, the detective said. Just what sort of music do you listen to, then? Osawa asked, staring into the postcards. It was a striking photo that showed off Kamiki's expressive eyes. Let me think. Mostly classical, I suppose. Yeah, that kind of tracks. Sawa raised a quizzical eyebrow. You know, Kajiwara continued, like Mozart and Chopin and the like. You know, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. From, 1700s. Classic. Austrian-born music prodigy and classical composer. Famous works include The Marriage of Figaro, The Magic Flute, and Symphony No. 41, known as the Jupiter Symphony. Chopin. Frédéric Francois Chopin. Composer and pianist of the early Romantic era, famed as a national musician of Poland. Left behind numerous solo piano works. Famous works include his Nocturne. What does OP stand for? Op 9. Number 2, and his Piano Sonata Number 2. Opus. See, opus also kind of made sense for me in a sec, because that means something in Polish. So I was just like, oh yeah, of course. Wait. No, that doesn't work. No, of course not. Yeah, no, honestly, like, Chopin is, like, hugely celebrated in Poland. Like, oh my god. Everywhere. But it's great, because, like, actually Chopin's music is, like, it slaps. I don't know if y'all have, like, actually listened to it on purpose, but it's, like, legit super good. It's probably my favorite of all of the classical musicians by far. He hummed a few bars. Can't say I've ever heard him. Oh, are you serious? Kajiwara looked shocked. I'm familiar with the names, of course. I just never had much of an interest in music. Oh, such a shame. Silly keyboard has next to you. Do you know how many years it was we found out Ode to Joy had there's lyrics to Ode to Joy. I was today years old when I learned that Ode to Joy has lyrics. Mr. Holland's Opus. No. What is this? Oh, also remembering back when I had a girlfriend in college, she wanted to watch some episodes of Kim Possible one day, including the body swap episode when Ron goes to the Monkey Temple or something. Oh, I see. I remember the body swap episode, but not well, because like a lot of things do body swap. Monkey Temple. Huh. They're pretty good, really. Would you care to listen to a piece now? I suppose I may as well. Honestly, yeah. We should listen to some classical music. Brought it up. Osawa was curious to know what sort of music Kajiwara enjoyed. Detective pulled out a digital music player out of his pocket. Here you go. Osawa slipped the attached earbuds into his ears. He heard a flow of quiet strings that was soon joined by bold, dramatic horns. As the piece continued, it grew more profound and complex, and Osawa could feel his spirit calming. No, classic music does have its benefits for sure. It can be very nice. Yeah, it's really quiet. I mean, it's classical music, so it's not like they would have to worry about, like, copyrights. I mean, I guess you're supposed to be, like, I guess the camera is set that you're listening to someone listening to something at a distance. Can't say I can recognize the tune from this incredibly quiet, muffled thing. He took a deep breath and expelled it through his nostrils. It felt as if the toxic gloom that had filled him was departing with the air. Before he knew it, nearly 10 minutes had passed. What do you think? Oh my god, imagine you give someone something to listen to and it's 10 minutes long. Yet you're not in his head. It's true. We are not in Osawa's head. And the music puts us specifically not in our head. Not in his head. Alienation from Osawa since isolation and lack of connection. Yes. Especially you expelled everything through his nostrils. Yes, including us. Achoo. But imagine, but Kajiwara would. He would just stand there for 10 minutes and just wait. Just wait. Not doing anything. Just waiting for him to do this. Oh my god. I mean, it is, but Kajiwara's not even listening to it. It's not on speakers. He's just like waiting for some, like, I could not. Maybe this is just my ADHD talking, but like, I could not. Like, if someone's listening to something for 10 minutes, I'm going to do something else while I wait. The theme of this piece is, Kajiwara paused for a moment and thought. Well, it's about how erudition can be boorishness. Accumulated knowledge. The term often connotes an advanced or esoteric understanding. Displaying a moderate amount can impress others, but pompously flaunting it is bound to put them off. They're doing this very much on purpose. They're very going out of their way to do, like, big extra words to describe this. It's just interesting, because, like, of course, I get it. Native speaker and everything, so it's not hard, but at the same time I can feel the sudden change in tone from going to be like, one would think that blah blah blah, or like describing what like being sweet on someone is, or someone being someone's cup of tea. We've gone from that to esoteric, pompously flaunting, connotes. I've heard like connotates. I don't think I know connotes personally. Alright. Yep. And boorishness. I'm pretty sure it's mostly a synonym for, like, boredom. Boring. Thank you. If I hadn't met you, I'd never have discovered this piece. He spoke the words unthinkingly, without an unaccustomed frankness. Was this the power of music, then? I'm very happy to hear that, sir. Sawa gazed at one of the postcards. He let himself be drawn back into the music. Aya was scooping up handfuls of mystical blue sand, the grains dripping down from her fingertips. I feel like I could be in this photo here, Sawa muttered. Like I've lived my life, letting so many things slip through my fingers. Oh, yes. No, 10 minutes is not long for classical orchestra, and I'm definitely very aware of those pieces can be very long. And they're supposed to be. It's supposed to be like a whole journey, you know? Favorite compositions are not the classics. My two most favorite are Comptine and the Merry-Go-Round of Life. I also... Ooh, the Amelie sung in House Moving Castle song. Oh, yes, actually. Okay, so you're right. I didn't know the names of those songs, but I actually do. I love them both. I saw, actually, Amelie is one of those movies that I hadn't seen in a very, very long time. Like, I saw when I was a kid, like, teenage kid, but like pretty young teenager to definitely a lot of stuff went completely over my head. And then I saw it again this past year, and it was a completely different experience. Everything about me is different. Everything about my life is different. Everything about everything is different. And I actually could sit there, and of course, even better because like it's a French movie. So this time I watched it with Polish subtitles. So even that also completely different. Just a different language, despite being the same language. But everything, just really, honestly, great movie. Amelie is great. It is quirky. Kajiwara thought for a moment before responding. I think anyone who's worked hard to accomplish something and is focused for a long time on that one thing is susceptible to those kinds of feelings. Accomplishing something means getting results. It's not where my problem is. I saw I removed... Yes, it is. That's absolutely true. If you focus on one thing, you're going to feel like there's a whole bunch of other things you've never tried and never done. Ooh. Listen, I'm just saying, if you guys want to throw some of these in the music channel on the Discord, like I know some of them I already know, but like it can be fun. It could be fun to share them if you have the time and energy to do so. It's just a very, very, very gentle request. And actually, I think I know violin player. Was it violin? It was. God, what was the name of that anime? Because I might have seen it, actually. It's like these two girls, and honestly, I was shipping them the whole time because it was kind of hard not to. I can't even remember how it ends. Did I watch it all the way to the end? July and April. No, that's a different one. Oh, that's also a... No, that one... Oh, that anime is so good. And also I cried so hard. I cried so hard during that anime. It's really emotionally super powerful, and I highly recommend that to absolutely everyone, and it is really important. If you are into music, if you've ever played music, that is basically a must watch. And if you haven't played music, but you like big feelings, yes. Yeah, silent voice. Did I see this one? No, it's on my list. That's why I recognize it. I have actually had a lot of things make me cry. What else? Though, I'm trying to think. Yeah, Manly Men. Yes, absolutely. It's brutal, but like it's worth it. It's 100% worth it. Like, listen, not every piece of art is supposed to make you feel happy and better about yourself, and I think we know that because there's a whole lot of really like even just sad or upsetting things out there too, but like this is one of those that like you're supposed to feel sad but in a beautiful way, and it does absolutely do that. It makes you feel so sad but in a really, really, really beautiful way. So yeah, highly recommend. I don't know if I've seen that one. There's a lot of value in the bittersweetness, because that's what a lot of life is too. Like a lot of life is also about embracing not just the happy emotions and not just putting away the sadness, but like accepting it as part of what life is and what gives life meaning. Easier said than done, but like, because it's tempting to want to be happy all the time, but you lose a lot of depth if you don't have the variety of a lot of things. Osawa removed the headphones and gave back the music player. You told me not to hide things from you, right? Kajiwara nodded silently. Then allow me to speak frankly. Leaning back heavily in his chair, Osawa took another deep, slow breath. I'm anxious. So anxious that it's almost crushing me. Given the circumstances, sir, that's completely understand- No. Osawa spoke up before Kajiwara could finish. It's not that. It's not that at all. He shook his head vigorously. If the worst should happen to my daughter, how am I going to feel, I wonder? I'm not a man with a wide range of emotions. My heart is always cold, somehow. And the truth is that I've wanted it to be that way. Which is why, if I do lose my daughter, my heart might remain unmoved. I may not even be able to feel a father's sorrow. That's what I'm anxious about. He felt his emotions twist inside him in a way that was utterly confusing. For perhaps the first time in his life, he realized how fickle a thing the human heart can be. It's all right, sir. Kajiwara flashed him a carefree smile. That's all right. People who really have cold hearts don't worry about that sort of thing. The detective held out his music player. That's true, actually. If you were worried that you might not feel enough, you feel a lot, but repress it. A lot. A lot of people who think that they're really cold and cold-hearted and worry about it especially are people who have basically have their emotions never validated, and they punish their own emotions also. They continue the job of probably their parents who punished them for having emotions, feelings, and anything that wasn't acceptable to them. And they continued that job well into their own adulthood, just because it was better that way. It was easier. How could you know what it's like to actually embrace negative emotions, or really a lot of emotions at all, if you were never allowed to, and if you never were even allowed to recognize what they are? Just bury it. Here, I'd like you to have this. Please, give it another listen if you like. I think it might help calm your nerves. Sawa took the offered device. He had dared to open up to Kajiwara just a little. To his own surprise, he felt grateful for it. How about one of these as well? The detective produced a banana from his pocket. I'm fine, thanks. You sure? Take it. Oh, alright, I guess I'll take it. Sawa spoke irritably, then his expression softened a little. Take the banana. He's right, you need potassium. You know, you've been getting on my nerves all day. Really? Here, I thought I'd been doing what I could to soothe your spirits, Mr. Osawa. It's actually been a real long time since I've ailed anyone quite so much. As the words left his lips, Osawa found himself thinking back to one particular rainy day. Maria had been in 5th grade at the time. Osawa was standing in his daughter's room. In his hands, he held the letter she'd left behind. He happened to glance out the window and saw Maria walking along, soaked from head to toe. In an instant, Osawa was consumed with rage. Maria had left a note. It read, Dad, you only pay attention to Hitomi. You're too busy with work to play with me. So I'm running away from home. Struck by an impulse he didn't quite understand, he ran from the room, heading for the front door. It's so sad. Maria had just gotten back inside. Osawa met her silently in the entryway. Wet strands of hair clung to the girl's forehead as she looked up at her father with a bitter glare. You don't care what happens to me, do you? Oh. Yep. Great job, Osawa. Ugh. Impulsively, he slapped her face. 5th grade, y'all. 5th grader. Maria's cheek turned red and tears welled up in her eyes. Osawa's anger transformed abruptly into guilt. He gazed down at the palm of his hand and saw a tiny spot. How do you hit your child in the first place, let alone so hard that you get blood? Are you kidding me? No, never mind. I just hate him again. I was feeling towards him. I was feeling, oh, we're, trying to... No, I hate him again. He's a terrible father. He's always been a terrible father. He's not going to... Just because... Listen, even if he has a come-to-Jesus moment, even if he's like, oh, maybe I should be better, blah, 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 he's not... it takes years to undo this amount of childhood trauma. It takes years and years and years and years and years. He will never be a good father. He missed his chance to do that. He can become a non-terrible father. He can become better. But no. He was shocked by the recognition of what he'd just done. Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely probably one of his worst memories, but still. I don't care if he regrets what he did. He should have, I don't know, had some thought in his head before doing the thing. He was afraid. Afraid that his daughter could bring such raw emotion out of him and make him do something so thoughtless. Something wrong, Mr. Osawa. Kajiwara was leaning in, looking concerned. Osawa came back in the moment with his start and realized he had buried his face in his hands. No, he muttered, looking up. Just getting angry, yelling at people. I'm not good with that sort of thing. I don't like it. He picked up the music player and fidgeted with the earbuds as he spoke. Well, getting angry at yelling people, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's just human. I mean, yelling can be avoided in most cases. Yelling's usually a sign that, like, something very bad is happening and everyone needs a little breaky break. Right? Jim talked about smacking his deaf daughter before she really... Yeah, exactly. Like, you can't imagine it, especially, like, again, said it before, I'll say it again, we have so much evidence, so much more evidence that, like, hitting your children is exclusively negative. Like, all of the things that you would think that would bring a benefit from it, it doesn't, and it does the opposite in almost every case. Don't hit your kids. Don't hit your kids. Should kids experience consequences? Yes, but the consequence should match what's actually happening, but hitting them teaches nothing. Absolutely nothing. And yeah. You're not listening. What? Like, I can't imagine. Like, you wouldn't first think something's wrong. Like, I can't imagine people who think kids, like, because most of the time, the kids are not messing with you on purpose. They're not trying to make you mad. If they're making you mad, they usually don't really understand what the consequences, like, they either don't understand they're making you mad, or they don't understand what the consequences are for like, causing anger. They see a reaction. And then you get older and, like, it's at that point because they don't understand the consequences of their own actions to get you mad in the first place. They usually don't mean to do that. Kids generally want you to be happy. They want you to love them. They want to be loved. They want it so bad. It's literally such a desperate survival instinct that, like, there have been studies that, like, with monkeys even, that, like, an abusive, like, robot, like, it was a fake abusive mother with this monkey, which, again, we do some terrible experiments. But we did this experiment where we had this, like, fake mother who would, like, you know, blow air or, like, you know, shake or other, like, very unpleasant sensations to the tiny monkey. And the monkey, the baby monkey would come back and cling harder, would come back faster, would think, like, basically, like, you know, try to fix it. Try to fix what it supposedly did wrong. Yeah. I don't think it is actually. So if you're curious, I highly recommend looking up the research about, like, spanking and in general, because if you look at this research overall, like, there's a lot, there's something that can do, like, a huge breakdown about it that basically shows all of the things which should change your mind on thinking that it should ever be used, literally ever. Like, I also, like, when I was young, I got spanked. I hated it. It was bad. But, like, I also kind of thought, I guess it's sort of a thing, but then I found out about this sort of research many, many years ago, actually. And then I think I read even deeper into it more recently, like a couple years ago, because someone I knew was questioning me also. They're like, no, I think there's some times where you're supposed to. And I'm like, no, hold on. I'm pretty sure I read and I came to the conclusion also with the paper that the answer is literally never. It's literally never worth it. And that evidence has actually been around for a while, but like, it's weirdly something that people will always defend because it seems like it makes some kind of sense until you do a full breakdown. Like, you need the full breakdown to understand why it doesn't actually work. And like child psychologists, and there's been tons of studies. So like I said, it's actually really interesting. I don't think anyone's like an evil person for not magically having this knowledge, by the way. This is the same thing with like, with people who are still learning about like how you're supposed to keep water away from food for cats and stuff like that. Like, no one's evil for not knowing things like this. No one's evil for accidentally doing this stuff. But like, it's, if we can share this knowledge for more people and more people learn about this, that's all I want. All I want is for more people to learn about this stuff and find out about it. So that way, the next time someone says, oh no, I think it's okay to, you can also be one of the people with me that says, actually, no, actually there are studies and they've done more stuff recently that like, you really should never ever do that thing. Yeah, grittier. There's some weird bias assuming that grittier things are more nuanced and more nuanced is more truthful. This, I feel like, Kira, that bias goes hand in hand with people, with just bias of things that people think are true. If people think something is true and then they find out there's evidence against it, they're more likely to go to the middle before they would ever consider going all the way to the other side. And most people have either grown up in a household that included, like, for example, spanking. And most people have either grown up a household with this, or they know other people who did and they didn't really have any particular thing against it. And so they don't really know about this. And again, like I said, it's not evil to think, oh, maybe there is a middle ground. That's, I think, just everyone's first step towards being willing to change their mind is to actually look for a middle ground first. Because it's hard to change your mind completely from something you feel like you know, feel like you knew, feel like that's just a part of how life is. So, yeah, fathers used to treat me a clone of his manly thought process. Oh boy, understand his aggressive way of thinking. Yep, yeah, unfortunately. Once, yeah, I also have issues with my, male parental figure. Not once did he ever truly apologize for what he did. Yep, attempted to justify and half it. Yes. My dad is definitely narcissistic, which is one of the many, many things that he is. But of all of that is that, yes, absolutely, there will never be an apology. I basically do no contact, but like, it's not anti-contact. It's just I will never reach out, and I do not respond unless I specifically want to. And it's still even pretty rare. Like, when I go visit my mom, like, I don't just pretend that he doesn't exist. But when it comes to like texts and stuff, it's that, yeah, no initiative, zero initiative, less than zero initiative, because I'm like well past it. I've personally moved on. I've dealt with that. And actually, Partner in Time, if you haven't already read the book Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents, this is one of those books that like I recommend to absolutely anyone who's had a difficult relationship with their parents. And I mean this in all very, very seriousness. It is like, that book changed my life in a lot of ways. It's really, really short. You can find PDFs online of it pretty easily too. And I would really, really, really recommend that as a part of a healing process if you have, or even just to be able to like get another lens on what actually happened, because part of this helped like seeing how it wasn't like, I won't get too deep, and actually I'm not going to get much deep into it at all, but basically I got to see more of the picture than I understood before. And it was really, really important for me. complicated. If some people really honest stuff to say, if you put some lip and change. Mm-hmm. Things I've also lived shaped what I wouldn't do. Friends that grew up that weren't spanked over and over. I mean, it's okay to, if you, like, I still think it's worth reading the research, and I would really push that. Okay, so here's the name of the book again. Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. And I'm going to see if I can write that in the chat. Let me see. Sometimes I can write in chat and sometimes I can't. Oh, yes. Thank you, Kira. Very, very helpful. I started typing it. Would I be able to send it? I do not know. But yes, this is the name of this. I can't like put an emoji on it or anything, but this is the one. Please, like, it's really good. And it's, like I said, it's really short, but I had to still like stop multiple times to like process what I was reading, and it was really, really big for me. There's a partial hole on the outside of the bathroom door at my dad's house. He could replace the door, but he keeps the door there as a reminder himself that one time he lost control of his emotions to life. Wow. That's intense too. I feel like also this is one of the, like, on one hand, for me, it's not forgivable in that, like, you can accept that a person did a thing and still not forgive them. You can even still love a person who's done something like this, like hit their kid. Like, you can love them, especially if they're your parent. You can still love them. But you don't have to forgive them, and it doesn't make their actions forgivable even if you decide to move forward, right? And, like, you don't have to accept any apology. Like, they can apologize, and they should apologize for obvious reasons, but you don't have to accept it. Like, you can say, cool, I acknowledge, you can acknowledge it, but you don't have to, like, say, yes, this makes everything better, or this makes anything better. It doesn't have to make anything better. And it's really difficult because there are still, like, I feel like we are getting better, and it's one of the huge benefits of the internet the way it is and increased globalization and stuff, is like we are becoming more and more and more aware of mental health and emotional intelligence and stuff, but there are a ton of people who still were given absolutely nothing. And unfortunately, I will say it is especially true with those who are born male and raised male, is that a lot of times they're raised to ignore their emotions, not listen to their emotions, and basically also classify, weirdly, anger as not an emotion, but also they can be afraid of their own anger, but it's also one of the only tools that they're allowed to use. And it's so complicated, and the entire concept of, like, masculinity and, yeah, toxic masculinity as well, because masculinity is a good thing. Femininity is a good thing. Toxicity is bad. And yes, unfortunately, with the internet, you also get the echo chambers. You get the echo chambers of people who just can make stuff up and let people live in their own bubbles where they absolutely can believe these things. Yeah, confirmation bias, 100%. And that is really sad, because we have all this access to information, and yet what are we doing with it? Sometimes I still am trying to find better ways to spend my time and get away from the scrolling, because you cannot cold turkey the internet. And I find myself so often going on Reddit. Reddit's really my poison, more so than anything else. Like, I get bored of scrolling videos. Like, it can hook me the same way like a normal dopamine hook can get me, but eventually, like, I don't want to go back and start scrolling. Like, I find myself not wanting to start a scroll a lot of the times. But if I do start, I can just get hooked on, like, oh, look, magically, things are always moving and there are sounds and it never ends. Like, you know, flashing lights and moving colors, all that jazz. But in general, I find myself always going back on purpose to Reddit because there's so much interesting information there. And I tried to weaponize it. I tried. And it kind of helps because what I did was I made an account where I blocked and got rid of almost everything, except for I can look at my homepage, which is a specific, I blocked so many subreddits, and anytime I found myself on a subreddit too long, I would also add it to my block list. But I would try to add things for programming and for basic a bunch of stuff with data engineering and data science and all of these things, things that I was hoping would just increase my ability to actually have some access to news at all ever, as well as maybe learning some stuff, and I do. But also, a lot of people will sneak a lot of these spicy stories in there as well, and I find myself getting drawn back into the drama so easily. I wish I was immune to scrolling. That would be great. Because, you know what I'd rather spend my time doing? Playing more games. Just on my own, or reading books. I would love to read books. Again, I keep trying, and one day maybe it'll stick. Who knows? Literally, families, one that had issues with immunizations, vaccinations. Wow. Yeah, every single family has a completely unique combination of stuff. Some things do rhyme, though. So, yeah, anti-vaxxers, flat earthers. Yeah, we could list a lot of toxic things that would definitely make me upset also. But those are pretty brutal. But still, oh gosh. Well, we've got ourselves talking right up until the end here. And you know what? Again, I love that about games like this. One of the things that I like about Osawa's story, and even though a lot of times I hate him, and I have a lot of moments where I hate him, is also his story has also the most intrigue and also a lot of more emotional depth. Most of the story of Osawa is spent inside his head. And that's completely different than the other characters. And it makes him my favorite character to watch, get in depth with his story, as he is fundamentally flawed in so many ways, but also really interesting. And for that, I think it's normal to be able to enjoy some hella flawed characters, but he's definitely up there. The other characters have a lot more fun going on. You don't have too much fun in here, except for, I guess, the toilet scene. That was pretty great. It's really interesting. It's connecting with his disconnect. Yeah, actually. I think you're right. See if co-host could prevent me from having an endless scroll. Feed would only consist of hashtags I show. Ooh. I literally got excited about maybe trying a new app, and then literally by the very last thing, co-host has been shut down now. Yeah, no, unfortunately. No, see, unfortunately, a lot of the things that allow you to attempt to curate your scrolling habits, most of them are going to get taken away because they also can keep it from advertisers from getting to you and get all the data that they want, etc., etc. Oh my gosh, we forget we're the product, which makes it all the harder. Literally, I have Instagram in a good place because Instagram I have pretty much blocked, and I'm only allowed to watch it from other people's phones. And I mean that I am shown memes on Instagram from other people because I tell them oh no, I don't have the app and you can show me. And I can get links to it and I can watch single videos, and it kind of works sometimes, but a lot of times it straight up just doesn't work. And I'm okay, but sometimes it's also weird. Sometimes it'd be nice to be able to have things just work, but also I have all these other apps for that and it works just fine. So, without the ads of monetization of other platforms, ran short on funds and moderators. Yep, budget and workforce ran out. Yeah, it turns out people who are consuming a lot of free stuff aren't really going to be in the space where they can pay for it. They're what if I just have the thing? Maybe one day we'll acknowledge the actual real problems of internet addiction. I know some people are. I know there are some people who are out there who are actually for real acknowledging internet addiction, scrolling addiction, social media addictions, all these different varieties of it. But, yep, problem is, you can't cold turkey it. You really can't. especially like because I feel like I would, and even the news part of things. Like I would even be okay if I just like cold turkeyed more and like didn't even get news. If also I wasn't expected to be constantly learning and improving at my job, but also for my job, not on job time. And I do that honestly as little as possible because I'm like, no, if I don't need to learn it for the job, I'm not even gonna remember it. But there's so many fun facts that have helped me in the past. So. Anyways, I'm getting carried away. I should actually start moving to slowly ending today's stream because I do have to get up early for work again tomorrow, like I do. But we can wrap up our threads and get there. I'm not trying to just like pull the plug. Someone argue parents who don't vaccinate their kids should require to experience anything. Yes, I have. Honestly, I really feel like here's a straight up example. We get vaccinated for whooping cough. All of us who get vaccinated for whooping cough as kids. It turns out you're supposed to get that again after like 10 years. I caught whooping cough as an adult. That was last year. That was a little more than a year ago. It was so brutal. I'm sure some of you remember this. Yeah, like, yeah, no, I get it. Okay, thank you guys. I understand. Yeah, exactly. But I had no idea. That I was that I was due for this shot. I had no clue. That I specifically needed a whooping cough. Surprise, surprise. Maybe I should check in with some of my other vaccinations at this point. Maybe I could just assume that maybe I should just assume that I don't have anything anymore, considering it's probably been, well, I don't think I've had any of them since I was a kid, so probably it's been 10 years for the rest of them. Maybe I'll get that checked out. Vaccine for seasonal allergies. There's one for the flu, but that's about it. Poor eyesight? Oh, we're still far away from that one, unfortunately. But yeah. Oh, it's good that you're disconnected from social media, Kira. Honestly, it's so much better. Community museum, hooray! That's one of the things. But yes, okay. So I am officially heading out. I'm doing it. I'm leaving for reals. But this has been such wonderful conversation. You can tell how much I don't want to go. But we can always continue next time. Pretty much literally on this scene here, where we can have some thoughts about Osawa and how terrible of a father he is. But yeah, I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their afternoon, evening, and their week. And I will see you all next week, pretty much for sure. So, see you later.